Thank you all. We're here Wednesday evening because Monday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, and we're here for a regular meeting of the St Albans Town Selectboard. We're going to begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to have a brief moment of silence in honor of our former Selectboard member and former Selectboard Chair, Bill Nyan. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we have our brief moment and then set, I'd just like to mention that there weren't very many hats in St. Albans Town government that Bill Nyan didn't wear. I think he hit the trifecta. I don't know if he was ever on the DRB, but I know for a fact he was on the Planning Commission, multiple separate terms, came out of retirement more than once to get back on the Select Board. Affected a lot of positive change. He was one of the main forces of nature behind the adoption of the local option tax, which has built every major project that we've accomplished in the last 5 years, and really anything that revenue stream helps support for the next several generations. They'll have a little bit of credit attached to Bill Nyan, and for that we can all be grateful. So let's just take a brief moment and reflection. Thank you all. The town, our hearts are definitely with Joanne and the children and Bill's large network of family and friends. Bill was a very interesting, well-read, well-traveled, well-cultured individual. He did a lot of work for a food store, Best Foods, yeah, and Malaysia, Singapore, Asian markets, he did quite a bit of work. He could tell you stories about multi-million-dollar deals in the the 80s and 90s. He retired fairly young, and he came back to where his wife grew up on Hathaway Shore, ended up at Summit Place, and owned a camp that he spent all summer on Maquam. His family is an important pillar of the St. Albans community, and we're going to miss having him around to keep us honest, let's say. So with that said, let's move on to warrants. Jonathan, you have the general fund?
I have the general fund warrant dated January 13, 2022, and the amount of $79,081.97. Some of the bigger ticket items, I believe, is health insurance, and that's pretty much it.
And I guess I'd like to just say I love the new format of the warrants where it groups what bills together so we know how much we spend on each vendor.
Right. It's
like Vermont Power, AT&T.
What Carrie's saying for anybody online, or if there's anybody, I'm looking at I guess there's no. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, we get, Jonathan, we want to hold it up for Roger. We get a list like that, and Jonathan is the one board member who comes in usually on Fridays and reads through every invoice himself personally after it's gone through Anna and either Carrie or Corey. And what Carrie was alluding to is that Anna made a pretty cool change to how the warrant's presented to us, and she now groups together invoices from the same vendor and gives us a lump sum of what the check amount was to the vendor to pay all of the invoices, which is really helpful. So thank you very much, Anna.
You're welcome.
With that said, I make a motion to approve this warrant.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Aaron.
All right, so I've got two payroll warrants. First one is dated January 7th, 2022, in the amount of $57,425.92. The second is dated January 14th, 2022, in the amount of $23,092.48. And Anna, I was trying to, I know I ask every time, but for the one dated the 7th, was that quarterly payments to volunteers?
Yes, it was.
Fire department. Okay, thanks.
Fire department.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve both of these payroll warrants as stated.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Perfect. Okay, I've got a fire department reserve warrant for $500 dated January 19th, 2022. There was a check from Mylan, a donation for $500 made up to, it was made payable to the town of St Albans when it was instead supposed to go to the Firefighters Association. So we're just moving that money to the appropriate bucket. So take a motion to approve the fire department reserve warrant dated January 19th in the amount of $500.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We've got an industrial park warrant that has a little bit higher of a total. It's $4,074.42. We've got roughly $3,400 worth of Drumac invoices attached to that. There's only about $600, $700 worth of GMP like we normally see. Electricity for the pumps, road signs, and lights. I don't know what the Drumac invoices were for. I would imagine that has to do with some sort of pumping to be able to maybe set the new pump that we ordered.
It was Route 7 North
Route 7 North.
pump station. The pumps are both having some issues, and we're actively researching how to replace them. They're near the end of their useful lives.
We use the industrial park account to cover Route 7 North?
No.
Oh, wrong one?
This, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Go for it.
Yeah.
These particular invoices were for the industrial park.
Okay, sorry. Different one. But
Yeah.
if you see a larger than normal one, that's what we had to use them for Wind River.
Yeah. It looks like it's just pumping.
They're for pumping and maintenance.
That one is for pumping and maintenance.
Got it.
The other one was more interesting and more concerning.
Another thing to put on the horizon. Industrial park warrant, January 19th, 2022, $4,074.42. We have a motion to,
So moved.
thank you.
Yep, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Infrastructure development warrant, town hall cost center, DEW construction is the lion's share, Liberty Mutual insurance for builder's risk. I think that is something to do with insurance. So town hall cost center, infrastructure development warrant, January 19th, 2022, total amount of $250,520.26. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the Stonehouse warrant, we have some miscellaneous parts and pieces, and then finally we got the bill for the drilled well. So Chevalier Drilling Co., they had to go 750 feet, and I think they had to frack. And we still don't have the gallons per minute that we need for our state permit, so more to come on that. But it's a Stonehouse warrant dated January 19th, 2022. $17,972.15. The well is $16,569 of that. And that's part of our ongoing effort to establish potable water at the Stonehouse for vendors and the public. So we take a motion to accept that warrant.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've got some consulting and engineering invoices totaling $9,580.03 for the stormwater utility. So the stormwater utility warrant dated January 19th, 2022, and the amount of $9,580.03. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. That concludes the warrant portion of tonight's meeting. Our bills will be paid. Now we've got, I think, 2 sets of minutes ahead of us. We've got the budget work session, Monday, January 10th, 2022, started at 5:30. I think all of us were here. Did we have any corrections or questions? Okay, not on that one. Then we had our regular 6:30 meeting, Monday, January 3rd. I think we were all here. Did anybody have anything for that one?
No.
I take a motion to accept both sets of minutes.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, so now we're on to agenda item 4, public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment via Zoom? Okay. Seeing no virtual hands go up, we're going to move on to agenda item 5, which is town meeting day, specifically whether or not and how we would like to mail ballots to all registered voters in the town, much like we did last year. So I guess I would start by taking a straw poll to make sure that this group wants to do that again in light of recent surges that'll probably be carrying through February and into March.
Do you want a motion for that,
I think,
or just consensus?
I think
or what?
consensus would be fine. I mean, Anna,
I say go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
I just wanted to ask, were there any complaints, problems, issues that arose?
Very few.
I mean, there weren't very many, and I might have gotten a couple. I mean, a couple people don't appreciate that we did it, but most people, I heard a lot of positive feedback, so that was unusual. We usually only hear negative feedback, but what do you think, Anna?
I agree. For everyone, most people are appreciative considering what's going on now, and I think they will be more appreciative. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Now, can we include the school ballot with our ballot, Anna? If we do
Yes.
this? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can do both. And that increased participation by what? At least,
Quite a bit.
50
30%, 40%.
and almost doubled. I mean,
We had a huge turnout last year.
and that was a fairly standard town meeting,
Right.
2021. The only thing on the ballot of substance was the town hall, I believe.
Exactly.
Construction cost.
I'm just gonna ask, maybe Anna knows the answer, but when was the last time or what is the process for the BCA, Board of Civil Authority to have checked the rolls? Is that something that happens normally?
It's every odd year.
Okay,
Yeah.
Anna puts in quite a bit of work maintaining our,
okay.
But there's different rules now, like we get in property transfer tax returns where we know a new homeowner is moving in, and the people that have lived there have not changed their voting district or wherever they've gone to, so we send them a challenge letter.
Okay, awesome.
yeah, it's a,
So it's ongoing.
Yeah, I just wanted to check.
It's definitely ongoing. It's something you have to pay attention every day.
Anna does a good job, her and
Yeah,
Lisa
good.
both managing that.
Thank you, Anna.
Scrubs
you.
that list pretty hard for us. So Anna, you'd be in support of doing this again?
Well, I'll tell you, last year, it took everybody at town hall and everybody helped, and I appreciated that because, I think the turnout was the largest,
Yeah,
having done that.
you used to be able to set your clock to 900 to 950 votes in a normal town meeting, and I think we turned, 1,800, something like that?
1,800.
Yeah,
We doubled
Yeah.
the
It was only
participation.
100 votes shy of the presidential primary the year before, which was our largest ever.
yeah,
And when we're talking about, committing, $200,000 a year for 10 years to, equipment reserves, it's worth going out for. And, it's a position of transparency that we would be sending that from, which is important. I think every single one of us here believes in making the town as transparent as possible. That's a huge step for us. So, yeah. And I'm sure, Anna, that Corey, Carrie, everyone else will be all hands on deck. I can bring Elliot in for a half hour to supervise. But,
you cannot change diapers. Can't do it.
Can't handle the ballot.
So, yeah, I think Corey can back me up on this. The legislature has left it up to individual select boards, councils to make that decision.
It'll be interesting to see how our decision affects just talking out loud, the school board races. You've got people running to represent, the city district that are also being voted on by town and Fairfield residents. So if we're mailing and the city isn't, and neither is Fairfield, our turnout.
Well, that happened last year too, Brendan.
Yeah, so it's it gives our electorate, the people we represent, a larger say in what happens in the school district effectively, when you think about it in those terms. But awesome. So you have everything you need from us on that front?
Unanimous.
No,
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
I'm gonna mail it. It'll take a couple days.
Yep.
Okay.
So do we have Hunter Gomez here? Hunter, I see your name.
I think you have to make a motion as to what you want to do.
Oh, you
as
need an
far-
effective motion? Okay, so we'd like to entertain a motion to mail all registered voters in the town of St. Albans their town meeting day 2022 ballots. Aaron beat
Second.
Jonathan to it. Jonathan seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Do we need to
Thank
include the
you.
school one or is that just automatic? You didn't say that, but I assume that's assumed.
Well, town meeting day covers the school, right?
Yeah.
That language.
Yep, just wanna make sure.
Could probably make ballots. I said ballots too. It was in plural, so. Good enough.
We got it.
So,
Under town manager's report, the first item is an appearance by Hunter Gomez, our project manager for the new town hall. Budget and schedule, any questions you have. You're on.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Back to remote. Just here, I'll give you a quick schedule update, let you know where the construction stands. All windows are installed, as you've seen, exterior insulation below and on top of the zip sheathing and flashing, but underneath the future brick is currently being installed. The roofing by AC Hawthorne the flat roof is nearly complete. The insulation, when I was up there this morning, was about 20 feet from the edge, if not 15. And they should have that all on by the end of the week, which is obviously already heating the building up or making it more efficient to heat, which is great. They'll be starting on the metal roof as of next week. So it'll be chilly, but they've been battling it and they are making pretty substantial progress given the weather. On the inside, well, we don't have a child, but we might have a dog. On the inside, we've got the final detail work for the framing is ongoing. They should be out of there by the end of the week. Just some minor custom areas like the arched entryway for the storefront, things of that nature getting finalized right now. The plumbers are nearly complete with their rough-in. They should be done by the end of the week. I believe we have a plumbing inspection from the Division of Fire Safety on Thursday. The HVAC work and rough-in is currently ongoing as well. They are coordinating with the sheetrocking. Some sheetrocking needs to occur first. So they're doing the best they can. They will have it all done by the end of the month, is what we've been told by DEW. And to that point, we also have insulation occurring in some places and sheetrock as well, which all has to come before we hang stuff from it, obviously, to just save time in the long run. So we've got those things going. The electric rough-in is also ongoing. They've got wires and boxes installed in most places. They're pulling in the secondary service in the very near future. Obviously, temp power is already in the building. They've got TV boxes on the walls, things of that nature. So they're getting pretty well along. We do have Division of Fire Safety general check-in inspection with the fire marshal tomorrow at noon. And he usually is accompanied by the electrical inspector as well, but he lives in town. So he's been coordinating, the electrical inspector that is, has been coordinating directly with DEW and Peak Electric, who's the electrical contractor. So he's been on site multiple times, as has the plumbing inspector. So we don't anticipate any surprises in that. They've been in the loop the whole time. So that's more or less where we're at with the schedule. We've got, I guess, to the point of the framers almost being done. Structural engineers coming out on Monday to do his final inspection of the structure, hold downs, hangers, tie downs, things of that nature, clips for trusses, all that sort of fun stuff. So after that, we'll have the sign off from Hardy Structural Engineers. The building's fit for the long term, and after that, we're going to start getting into kind of the finish work. So they'll be sheetrocking by the beginning of February, is what we were told this morning on our schedule update with DEW. So that's kind of the high level view of the schedule right now. I don't know if anyone has any questions about that before we move on to budget.
No, I think we're all set. You covered the bases pretty well. I don't know if anybody else has a question. I'm not seeing anybody. Go ahead, Hunter.
All right, and in terms of budget, we don't have too much that changed since you last saw things, other than that DEW payment. We're still under budget. We did have, it's the over under on the budget is still little bit less than it was before, because we had to some additional third-party testing from Alpha Testing that we charged to that budget surplus for the lightweight aggregate, because when we originally got their proposal, we had not proceeded in that direction. So they had $550 of overage, but pretty nominal in the scheme of things. And we are currently we currently have $163,298 left in contingency. We are kind of guarding that pretty closely at the moment, because obviously the winter conditions we are on the hook for, with DEW having to heat the building and the snow removal and things like that. So we're going to reconcile that kind of where we're at with that cost at the end of the month, and kind of project that out so we have a better estimation of where we're at. It's been very cold, so we figure by the end of this month, or certainly by the middle of February, we'll be through the worst of that, hopefully, if standard weather patterns hold. We did get the furniture bids back. We put the furniture scope out to competitive bid. We received 3 bids back on that, and Exteris is going to be the furniture vendor. That was under budget slightly. So we were finalizing that design with them, and price is going to shift around a little bit. Took some things away, added some things, but should have a really nicely outfitted new building in terms of furniture when we move in. And we will be ordering the kitchen equipment here very shortly, if Alan had not already done that. And we're pricing out the IT equipment we need, and the signage is also going to be priced out in 2 different packages in the coming days and weeks. So we will be incurring some owner side costs in the next update, I would assume. We've also started buying some of the ancillary equipment like bulletin boards, paper towel dispensers, soap dispensers, things like that. So we will start.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
but that's sitting in the boardroom, so they can see that now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good portion of the items in there, but we're still waiting on others.
Yeah.
More to
I forgot that was right there. It's off screen for me, but yeah. And Jen and I already chatted about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before anyone asks, that one banged up bulletin board, Granger is very good about returning those. I will say that. So they probably won't even want that one back. What's that?
Didn't notice anything till you said something. Good thing we have you managing the project.
Oh yeah, no, I've had I know Jen already reached out to Granger, so
Yes, today.
I think it's cheaper for them just to send a new one, to be honest with you. I've had that happen about 8 times with them for different projects, so not concerned about that in the slightest.
That's
Yeah, that's pretty much the budget update. So we will be starting to incur those owner side costs, but everything's looking good right now. And I heard Brendan mention the builder's risk insurance policy from Liberty Mutual is basically a policy that covers the work in place that we've already paid for from DEW. So it's an insurance policy that if the building burns down, what we've already paid for, i.e. the framing and the trusses and things like that, would be covered under that policy. And that's generally an owner furnished item. Occasionally, if you're working with a very large contractor for a large project, depends on who your carrier is, it can be cheaper to purchase through them, but it was cheaper for us to purchase that insurance directly in this situation.
The Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns does not sell builder's risk.
And that would be why we have it from Liberty Mutual.
Your coworker.
I forgot we've got the insurance guy on the line here.
Oh God, in another life, like 14 months ago.
Hey, that feels like another life ago at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah. No. So does anybody have any other questions for Hunter? Pretty good update.
It was, yeah. It sounds like everything's gone on time, on budget for the most part.
We're projecting a move-in date of when?
That is a great question. This morning we touched on that. They're tracking currently for their completion date of April 12th.
Oh, cool.
So
We
that's,
could have our first meeting in May there.
Yeah.
that's what we're shooting for. There's still, the supply chain stuff is still hanging out there. So nobody's really necessarily hanging their hat on that date as of yet. We do have a list of allowances with DEW, things for the, so the things like the winter conditions is an allowance we'd set aside in the advance of the project. And we set aside a COVID allowance in our contract negotiations with them. So we have some money to kind of absorb any supply chain issues, which is something else we're actively tracking. So you never really know what's going to come up in this day and age, but everyone's working really collaboratively in the construction manager approach versus the general contractor approach. It's probably about a year ago we had that exact conversation, I think. So I think it was the right move in this situation, given these times, for sure.
It's worked out much better. I think if any, like Brian, Jonathan, if you guys are still here in 10 years, I know Aaron and I probably won't be. If you do another big project like a fire department, construction manager form of delivery is, from this seat, a heck of a lot more transparent, and it's open-ended is what it is. You pay a fee, that's their management fee. Everything else is open books the rest of the way through. So you don't have to wonder what the general contractor might have paid and how much they might have marked it up. The hard cost, you see the invoice.
Yeah.
And this isn't Hunter's first time.
No, I mean, Hunter's the project manager, DEW is the construction manager, and they're working interchangeably to keep everything on.
Second, maybe third, I don't know.
But Hunter's been with us since he's the one that effectively hired DEW. So it's been a very well-managed project internally too, from the town manager who's been on the building committee since its inception. Carrie's done a lot of heavy lifting, especially these last few months. When there's a COVID-related supply chain issue or something else comes up, she's the one that gets the phone call and deals with it. And for that, we should definitely all be grateful to her.
Hunter gets it, and then he and I chat. Nothing good happens at 4 p.m. on Friday, though, Hunter.
No, I try to limit those calls for sure.
Well, you've been building the town hall on top of building a personal house for yourself, right?
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
She's in it for sure.
Yeah, she could be a construction management consultant when she's
Definitely not.
Right. You're looking for a job, give me a call. I won't steal her away from you though.
Corey.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if anyone has any thoughts come to mind, I guess the only thing that comes up, we're proceeding with those conference room name signs. And so those are going to look pretty slick. A new sign like you have behind you there for the new conference room, obviously with the new logo. So gotta reach out on that tomorrow. Actually, I got a marked up PDF about half ready to go right now. And the window film is going to look very nice that you all selected. I met with Doug at Main Street Graphics last week, and they're working on getting that set up now. So that's going to be very, very nice feature.
Well, thank you for keeping that business
very sharp.
Thank you for keeping that business local. Doug and his partner moved that business from St Albans City to the town last year, or the year before even, and time has flown so quickly. But thank you for doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Any other last minute questions before we let Hunter get back to
His coworker.
his coworker? Okay, Hunter, have a good night. Thank you.
You as well. Hope y'all get out by 7:30. Catch you later. See you next month.
That's the goal.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So the next item and last item in this section is our FY23 budget. I know that we as a group have spent a number of meetings on this. So in your package, you have draft 1 of the revenues and draft 7 of the expenses. There have been no changes since then. So we also gave you a draft of the stormwater utility budget. That you have a little bit less time with, but Emily is here if you have any questions. That doesn't require a motion at this point. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind it since we've already talked about it. And when we get to the article questions, that's when we review each of those articles. And I'd love a motion just to approve the
Acceptance.
final budget when you decide what that is, but at this
Mhm.
point, the question that that still remains is whether you want to leave that amount in the Historical Society, where it's at.
It's at 15. We left it at 15 in this draft.
No, it's at,
Maybe we added the extra 10.
Okay,
just to-
so we, so
But we
that's
also
the
said we might
difference.
put it on the ballot, so we
Correct.
were.
the city decided they're gonna put it on the ballot, so we should probably just do the same, I would say. I think the question, it's Article 6 in our draft list of articles. I think that could be wordsmithed a little bit, and we can get to that in a moment, but
okay,
Are we doing that now or afterwards?
I think we might as well get through the stormwater utility budget.
Let's
And,
do it. Yeah, that sounds good.
I think we should leave it in the general.
Scroll to here.
The general fund budget, we probably should leave it at 15 and then have the voters vote on the additional 10. I think Brian was right and the city seemed to agree. The city's taken an approach of leaving their budget relatively flat, and then any additional add-ons that the council might request, they're gonna ask the voters in an effort to keep taxes low, which is pretty commendable.
Mhm.
This being one of the things. So whereas maybe 2 months ago, they were thinking they were gonna program it into their budget, like we had discussed, they decided to put it on the ballot, given the pressures with CLA drops. So I think that makes sense here.
And I just want to, so if we've got other questions around the general fund budget, do you want to save those until after the stormwater or?
I think we bust through stormwater. That way Emily can get off if
Mhm.
she'd like to. I didn't see anything in particular in stormwater that stuck out. Did anybody have any specific questions for Emily?
Kind of same thing, but I didn't see anything that stuck out. 'Cause we went over a form of this not too long ago, right?
Right.
If I remember correctly. And so, Emily, no major changes since the last time you came in and went through this with us?
No, that's correct. I updated the amount of revenue we're anticipating based on the number of ERUs that are billed. There were a few credits that came in since the last meeting. I changed my salary increase to 6% to reflect the COLA. I think those were the only major changes that came along though.
So should we make a motion to accept this budget as presented?
Yeah, so moved.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Okay,
Who seconded that?
Jonathan.
John,
Thank you.
All right, Emily, you can feel free to stick around, but you definitely don't have to.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, so back to the revenue budget looks okay. I mean, it's the revenue budget, the expense budget. Did anybody have any particular points or questions they'd like to make?
The only question I had was in the Parks and Rec as far as the reimbursement for programs. It still had us increasing it by 15,000 in reflection of the possible pool. I didn't know where that got left, if we want to keep it at that increase or if we have any new information or.
That probably warrants an executive session, given that it's almost a contractual
Okay,
thing with
Yeah.
the city, but there are developments there that should be discussed, and I think we probably should revert back to 60,000, given what the discussion was last week, with the intent of maybe upping it for FY 24. But we can go over that in greater detail.
Yeah, I think we should.
So we can do that at the end of this meeting. I don't think you have to warn an executive session to enter one.
no, you know,
So we'll do that quickly, 5-10 minute discussion. But I think it would warrant putting it back at 60 for this year. We can leave it the way it is, have the discussion, and then make the motion to approve it after we exit executive session and before we adjourn, if we'd like to handle it that way.
we'll leave it as is now.
Yeah, discuss it, and then if we want to drop it back to 60 and make the motion to accept the budget then as amended.
I think that makes sense.
just to give you guys the ability to, know the full context before we make that
Each time you
decision.
change that bottom line, I'm gonna have to revise about 6 things before I can get the final version of the town warning printed. So it's
Oh,
just-
we'll leave here tonight for sure with the final.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's operating on the same amount of
I'm fine
detail.
with that. It's just gonna take, it's a little bit more clunky. Jen was gonna do it for me, but.
You also have to come in and sign the warning that you approve. And I have to, I'm anticipating ordering ballots on the 25th. So that's next week.
Well, that's why I'm gonna do that tonight. Like, when we make those changes, I'm gonna have to change the budget.
Right.
And make the
Okay.
corresponding changes on the warning.
And then print that out and we'll all sign it before we leave.
Check the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we can help you with that too if we.
And the only other
You can
one.
also
on
come in
here is
tomorrow
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, say the next section down with the Historical Society. It's 25 or so.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll put that back to 15 and then put the extra 10 on the ballot.
Yeah, if that's what we're
Okay,
gonna do.
so we're
That's the
definitely
only-
gonna take out the 10.
I think
Yeah.
those are the only two things in here, right, that we need
Right.
to
That is
Yeah.
consider.
So our implication is 25,000 so far in adjustments to the good. Well, I know it's to the good. I mean, anybody have any other particular points about the draft? No? Okay, so the only two changes that will be foresee making, dropping the rec reimbursement pending a quick discussion in executive session, but the museum one for $10,000, that adjustment is certain.
Mhm.
Okay, not seeing anything else. Okay, so now let's look at the warning. Article 1, standard, Article 2, we'll adjust those numbers. Just have to drop them each by 25,000, I think is the implication.
On Article 2.
Yeah, and then Article 3, that's pretty standard. What was the fund balance that we reduced taxes by last year, Anna?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I
Not to
can't.
put you on the spot,
I
but
think it's 100.
Yeah, I'll give you those numbers tomorrow. I promise
Okay.
you.
thank you. I can look it up too. I'm just curious. So that's pretty standard. That'll probably get the highest number of votes. So the Article 4, the fabled truck fund, shall the legal voters of the town of St Albans authorize the select board to fund a Department of Public Works equipment replacement fund in the amount of $200,000 each year for a period of 10 years. So 200,000 covers it? Is the,
Well, I saw that too. We originally had 250, right?
Right.
Or was
We
it
did.
200?
Corey and I had talked about it. We thought it was we'll call it an error. We revised a number, so we brought it down to 225.
Mhm.
When we were hoping that 200 would work, given that some of the trade-in values hadn't really been.
should we
So-
shoot
So it
225?
was, we took 25 out because we already funded a truck we've already paid for.
Okay,
And then I think Alan currently gets about $30,000 a year for equipment replacement. or
but
something like
that expires as the different replacement life articles. So Corey, the history on that was we used to vote to buy a piece of equipment and then fund its replacement for a period of X number of years. So that $35,000 and change or so that we currently see in the general fund, that's the remaining few articles that are still funding their 10-year period of replacement. Yeah, they do sunset. So before the end of this 10-year plan, that fund will evaporate. That 35,000 will be gone. So we probably want
Right,
to,
but then you're double dipping in how many years that continues.
yeah, but you don't know, like we haven't done the research. So we probably should go to 225, given that we don't know how much longer that 35,000 is on the books. And we could have a
And there's
couple.
nothing that requires you to put that back on the books. You're allowed to continue after the 10-year period, allowing to build that into the general fund. So realistically.
Was it the most transparent way to do it I mean, we can.
It's the way we do it. At one point, we probably funded everyone's salaries by a question on the floor for town meeting day. So it,
No, I hear you. So are we all comfortable with that number of 200,000, giving them that explanation? Okay,
I mean, you guys can do the 225, but then we take that, I would take that other 35 out of your budget. If you did it that way, that would be the most transparent thing. If that's what you're arguing for.
If we go with 200,000, then we've got that other 35 coming in, that's fine, as long as we're planning to continue it after the sunset deadline on all of those articles. Okay, so does the question sound all right to everyone, the way it's written? Anybody want to wordsmith it at all? I think we should add something about that, also including parks equipment. It's effectively funding two departments.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, the politician in me wants to somehow include language that says you won't have to vote on buying another piece of equipment for 10 years if you fund this. Like, this covers everything, but that's, well,
Well, that's what putting our outreach, right?
yeah, we're gonna have to.
That might not be the case. What happens though if you guys add 10 new public roads and we gotta go buy a truck and we have to pay for that different?
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
should have
I just
impact
wouldn't
fees to
box
pay for
yourself
that.
into the corner.
Yeah, less is more.
Yeah, fair enough. We should have impact fees in that scenario, but who knows if we'll have 250,000 just in highway. Okay, so fair enough. Article 5, shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the retail sale of cannabis within town limits?
Can I just confirm on Article 4, all I'm doing is adding the word "and parks." So it's gonna read, shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the select board to fund a Department of Public Works and Parks
Department, Parks Department, I don't,
Department,
would that sound good? I don't know.
Department of Public Works and Parks Equipment. You want department in
I think however.
Public Works and Parks, why not just take the Department
there?
of,
Fund Public Works and Parks Equipment.
yeah, all Public Works and all current, the replacement of all current Public Works and Parks equipment currently in service?
No, it's too many words.
No, within
Just including that.
equipment, within, just add within.
Fund a
To fund a
department, I mean.
Public Works and Parks, to fund
To
public,
fund Public Works, a Public Works to fund, I don't know. To fund Public Works and Parks Equipment.
Yeah.
replacement fund.
That sounds
If-
like
Shall the legal,
CA in there, I guess, to fund a,
yeah,
yeah,
a Public Works and Parks Equipment.
replacement fund. So
Yeah.
it's the fund that we're, not the.
Ah,
I mean, you can move it around and say to fund a replacement fund for
No, that's fine.
whatever you want to do. But yeah, Aaron's right, for a
Yes.
period of 10 years. That's good. Okay,
So make sure.
so we're all set with Article 4 now.
Article 4 is done.
Okay, Article 5, we still are in the same spot. We're gonna leave that up to the community. And we checked with whatever that opt-in, opt-out law is, that's a acceptable language to use there. There's no standardized language by statute that we had to use.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, perfect. Article 6. Shall the legal voters authorize the select board to add $10,000 to the previously approved allocation of $15,000 to the St. Albans Museum and Historical Society for a total allocation of $25,000 for 1 year? We can strike the Historical Society part because I think it's now just known as the St. Albans Museum Incorporated.
Okay.
Um,
So St. Albans Museum,
yeah,
that's it. Okay.
Yep. And then, do we want to do it for 1 year or just strike the 1 year part for 1 year?
Well, it was, when did we, was it, yeah, 24. So, I mean, this is for 20, so in theory, in 24, for the next town meeting day, right, for the next budget that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be that article for the 15 is going to come up again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
I
correct.
think for the 1 year makes sense. It's cleaner.
Well, that's like, as the 15 evaporates, I guess we would have a decision as a select board whether or not then we would want to
We would want
program
you
it
to
into the
have it.
budget.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I guess we could do it for 1 year now, but I think that might be confusing to people. Like, what are we giving them an extra 10 for just 1 year for?
Well, I think the St. Albans Museum can help with the understanding of that.
Fair enough.
And we could do that with our messaging too, if there's any questions. You know, it's tying it to, when the 15,000 was going to end.
Okay.
And I think they've done a good job with that so far. It's gonna have to, a good push before town meeting day, so.
Well, it'll be well in advance in the town if we're mailing
Sure,
um, ballots. That's one thing that I have to do tonight is ask Anna, when do you think the ballots will be mailed, Anna?
I have to have them, I want to order them on the 25th. So I think I will get them like the end of the first week in February. So as soon as we can get them out, the better.
So we would get them the last week of February?
No,
First week.
End of the first week.
End of the first week of February.
Right.
probably. The
So-
middle of the second at the latest.
Okay, so
It's been a couple days stuffing.
sometime between the 9th and 12th of February, they'll be going out in the mail.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I think we're set with the warning. Do we want to make a motion to approve the warning as amended? And then we'll all sign it after Carrie comes up with a fresh copy tonight?
Do we need to put any provisos around Article 2, just knowing that there may be a change?
Like
Like, we're
as,
approving it now.
as amended, right?
I wasn't sure if. it
Oh,
just-
because we haven't
we
decided whether,
haven't made the all
Okay.
amendments,
so
so
why don't we make those both motion, the decision and then this motion later on?
yeah, after executive, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So that settles that for now. Okay, so does anybody have anything they'd like to add under the town manager's report? Anything related to anything we just discussed before we move on to schedule?
I got, how's the ring coming?
I mean, I've heard them working on it for a couple days, but I don't know as of today where they're at with it.
Okay.
The weather's certainly cooperating for the ice part.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Corey, can somebody touch base with whoever's putting the ring together and give us a status update via email tomorrow? I don't know about you guys, but ever since we put out a Facebook post, or Mill River did, and then we shared it, get a lot of questions about it. When's it gonna be ready and when can it be used?
My skate's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody could just give us an update like tomorrow or Friday, so we're prepared for the weekend when people are asking questions, that'd be awesome.
Jonathan, are you still teaching lessons, skating
No.
lessons on the rink?
No.
No, $85 an hour. Not kidding. So, good question, Jonathan. So our next regular select board meetings will be Monday, February 7th and Wednesday, February 23rd. We're not meeting that Monday, the 21st because of President's Day. The fiscal year 2023 budget informational meeting or hearing, and then our DEI discussion will be Monday, February 28th at 6:30. And then again, just a reminder that our offices will be closed Monday, February 21st for President's Day. Anybody have anything they'd like to add under schedule? Okay. My report is that we had asked, I don't know, several months ago, almost a year now, for the department heads through the town manager to begin supplying quarterly updates and to begin meeting regularly. And both of those initiatives are going incredibly well. In our meeting packet for this meeting, we received reports from every department head in our organization about what they've been up to and what their goals are for the next quarter. And it's incredibly informative. It allows us to know what's going on the ground. And then we have that context when we make decisions, which is crucial. So Carrie, Corey, Anna, all other department heads involved with that. It's really neat to see all, you always all work together, but now it's interesting to see it. We've got minutes of a department head meeting where you had people had discussions and talked, about different initiatives that they could work on together. And, I discussed with Carrie today, and I think we're going to make it common policy that these quarterly reports will be put on our website for the public to see. Just because if anybody wants to know what's going on in town hall, we've obviously got nothing to hide. It's actually a little dry at times. Right, this year has been incredibly interesting with ARPA in the town hall, but yeah, so we'll work with Corey and our website vendor to maybe create a page specifically for that, where people can find those updates, and we'll probably put a post out on social media every time we enter one, just so people can read them. They're really well written, and it'd be a shame if only our five eyes got the benefit from them.
Just to chime in, Brennan, Alan said he's hoping to get the plastic down and start filling with water tomorrow.
Wow. Wow, well, tell him thank you from all of us.
I
Please.
think there's a plan that's definitely ahead of schedule, because their plan was to be ready for a February tournament, right? That's pretty cool.
It's, very well received online. It's going to be one of the most popular things we've done in the last few years, I think.
Mhm.
People really enjoyed the rink that John maintained on the actual ice last year. So it's really cool to see this come to life. I mean, it's really cool. So I have nothing.
I was just gonna ask, Corey, do we know where they're at with a number of teams that might be signed up?
I don't. My guess is that tournament's probably already sold out, but we can find that out. That's really being run by Mill River. We're kind of taking the backseat on that part, but they only had opening, I think, for like 24 teams this year because they wanted to keep it manageable.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just thinking of, again, people coming down, hanging out in the park that they normally wouldn't in mid-February, so.
Well, it's people going to Bayside, and now they're gassing up and getting snacks and drinks at the Bay store, and it's a boost to what usually are pretty seasonal businesses. Anything that we can do to drive traffic down in this area is a service to, people that put in a lot of work and have a lot more skin in the game in this area than we do as individuals. So it's really nice to see something like this come together. The farmer's market and the park and all the extra events, I mean, that's got to be revenue boost. And then we get it on the back end with the local option tax. So that's pretty cool.
It's outside, so.
It is. It's a COVID safe and,
Despite everything else.
that's pretty awesome. Only thing we could have done better was to have done it sooner, I think. So it's pretty cool. I have nothing else to report. It's just those quarterly reports are really well done, and that's going to help select boards in the future. So does anybody have any other business before we motion to go into executive session?
I just got one comment. I just want to say thanks to Carrie and the DPW, whoever was behind opening the gate and plowing Cone Park out.
I saw that today.
Nice. I had nothing to do with it, but I'll take it. I'll take both sides, so. Yep, they're trying to be more open. I wish I did, but
No, it's really cool.
in advance of ice season, it's great because we're gonna get a lot of ice. And I usually get that call. Same person calls me every year around the 20th. So it's cool that we got that.
That's awesome. And the new parking lot looks great with all that snow off of it. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, it was pretty dangerous there a couple of years ago. When it was that sheet of ice.
Yeah, I for one, borrowed my grandfather's nicer of his two pickups when I was in high school. And my now wife and I decided that we would, well, I'm going to lump her into it, decided that I would drive and do some teenager-like things with his truck in Cohen Park. And Mr. Diesel, the elder statesman that he is, had to pull us out of the snowbank that I was in with a tractor. So just having that done means that I probably won't have to do the same thing with my son. So
We don't know. We just don't.
in a different park somewhere, maybe on Swanton Beach. But okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss legal contractual, well, I'm just going to say contractual matter that where premature general public knowledge of the subject matter would place the town at a substantial disadvantage. We're going to do this under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1 of Vermont statutes, and we are going to invite the town manager and why not the director of operations, and if she so chooses to stay to record the information on our motion, since this is going to be very brief, we can also invite the town manager's executive assistant.
Oh, Jen gets to stay.
Absolutely. Anyone want to make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
that.
All in favor?
Recording in progress.
So we need a motion to approve draft 7 of the budget as amended.
Which, do you want me to read it?
Well, we'll do it when we approve the warning.
Okay.
So motion to approve the budget as amended.
Make a motion, we approve draft 7 of the budget as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then Carrie is going to read, since there's only 6 and not 15 articles, why don't we just read them all and then we'll make a motion?
Article 1 is the election of officers. I'm gonna go through all of
You don't,
these.
no, that's fine.
But Article 2 is the budget article. Shall the legal voters of the town of St Albans authorize the select board to spend an estimated $5,301,687 for the town general expenses, of which $4,517,431 is to be raised by taxes. 3 is shall the legal voters of the town authorize the select board to use up to $200,000 of prior year general fund balance to reduce taxes for fiscal year 23. That says fiscal year 22. Prior years to reduce taxes for the fiscal year. I'm gonna have her remove that. Sorry, I'm questioning myself as I look at it. Article 4, shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the select board to fund a public works and parks equipment replacement fund in the amount of $200,000 each year for a period of 10 years. Article 5, shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the retail sale of cannabis within the town limits. Article 6, a final one, shall the legal voters authorize the select board to add $10,000 to a previously approved allocation of $15,000 to the St. Albans Museum for a total allocation of $25,000 for 1 year. And those are our 6 articles.
So,
Okay, you're gonna make a motion to approve the warning for town meeting day 2022
okay,
as
so I'll make a
presented.
motion to approve the warning for town meeting day of March 1st, 2022.
Okay,
Yep, second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, well, I think we're all set tonight. That's all the business before us. We take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The time being 8:42. Thank you.